Hey guys, guess what time it is? It is time to get these little libraries back up and running. Safely, but doable. So, I'm in New Hampshire, which is starting to get a little bit better. I'm fortunate and I'm hoping it stays this way. But yeah, it looks like we have the all clear to get these libraries back up and running. All the books had to be sanitized, and there'll be signs in the libraries that basically say that any books that go in there should be sanitized. Now obviously there's no way to really micromanage that, but I think at this point you got to trust people to do what they think is right for them. So yeah, working on that. I know people are super, oh, that's cool. There's a fairground near me, and it looks like they're having a big drive-in thing this weekend. And that the land there is huge. We usually have the county fair there. So that would fit a ton of cars. I don't know what they're going to do for a screen, but hey, that's pretty creative. Anyway, I'm excited about that. It'll be nice to get back on that project. I had the worst timing in the world for that. Right when I was ready to go, it was mid-March. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? Because it was too cold when I first came up with the idea. Then it was March. It's been a challenging little project, but I think we're back, or will be soon. I'm going to do this in baby steps. I've got a couple indoor libraries that are in public places that I think I'm going to hold off on, but the outdoor ones, we're going to start there. So, yeah. Anyway, that is my plan. That's what I'm up to right now. Feeling hopeful, I think, is the best way to put that. In the meantime, I've been doing a ton of hiking and walking and stick collecting for my latest crazy creation. I'm trying to use, because I have so many craft supplies that I already have, and I will show you guys somewhere in this video what I worked on for my my crazy creation this week. It actually turned out super cool. I made wind chimes and these silly, stupid, but so fun sculpture centerpiece thingies out of sticks. And then I used the nail polish vases that I've been doing, that I've done crazy creations on before, for them, and they actually turned out really cute. So that was fun. Meantime, in Writing Land, I am still nipping away at Otherkin. My mission tonight is I found a book that a psych book that I think will be good for me to read in order to write this book a little bit more substantially. I don't want to just make it up. I want it to be pretty realistic and factual as far as the diagnosis or diagnoses that might be involved here when Milo, who is the MC, meets with his therapist. I'm still having a really hard time getting my mind around this, the whole disorder versus not. You can never trust the DSM, because what is one day a pathology is suddenly pulled out of there and or changed up and no longer a pathology. So yeah, I want to do some research on that, because I think I'm going to switch it to an E.L. George, but we'll see. I might not. That's a lot of work cover wise, because all the promo graphics are already done for that, so we will see. But yeah, so that's coming along slowly, but hey, I'm not beating myself up over it. Treat yourself like your own best friend, I guess. Alright guys, I hope you're doing well. I will check in again later in the week. Bye.
Okay, okay. So, it's always a surprise, everybody. It always is. So hopefully everybody's doing good. Feel so devious, even though I didn't really do anything. But
Yeah.
I picked a book this time for backstory that is not quite as old as the others, but one that I really wanted to read and that I had questions about.
Okay.
And so today we're going to be diving into Escaping Colorado.
All right. I don't know what you're going to get out of me for that. I think that one's really fiction. Like,
It
I
will,
don't
yeah,
know that there's an backstory
but
that
there's still
flies.
questions that I have about the
All right.
process.
I'm ready.
So I took notes, so I'm always ready. Okay. So I'm going
Fair
to start
enough.
with just some of my general notes first, and then I have more specific ones to the story. So, first of all, this is a bomb ass cover. Just saying.
I love
Like,
that cover.
that cover is friggin' amazing. OMG. So, just put that out there. My review will reflect that. All right. So,
Oh, good. That's good. I like that.
For this story, we have Ellie, who's then known as Chrissy. We have Ian. We have Micah. So even though this one is fiction, sometimes fiction comes from other things. So are there any fun characters based on stories out of this book? Or was it just purely...
I think it was, but that could change as we talk. And I'll go, oh, wait, that one. Ellie was my daughter's name. So that's where we got the character's name. But obviously she didn't live. So that's a sad thing. Hey, Ebony. So that's where I got the name from. And you see dedications to her here and there in books. But yeah. Other than that, I don't know.
Okay.
Scared.
There's always so much fear. I'm not scared.
I'm hooked. I'm just waiting for you to go, oh, but really, there's a tie, Erin.
Well, this one does tie to, obviously, Escape Colorado. So there is mention of that in the book, which is really cool. And there are some, when we get into a little bit more of the more details of the story, there's some pretty intense little things in this little romance type book. So, I know at the end in the acknowledgments you mentioned about the challenge of writing a romance and that you did it, and you did, but it still had that like Erin spin to it, which makes it really awesome. So that was good. So any other fun facts about this book? Other than you crushed the challenge.
I remember, well, whenever I have a contemporary romance, I'm terrified. And I generally hate writing them. Until I can find my hook. Once I realize no, Erin, this isn't really contemporary romance, and I trick myself because I either give the character a major problem, a missing limb, something like that, then I'm good. A secret life in this case. Whatever. Then I'm fine. Strawberry Sundays, I wrote that book 3 times. That one was my hardest. This one was a little easier, but I wrote it directly after Strawberry Sundays. So I was so romanced out, and I was like, ugh. So I remember being miserable until I realized what the hook would be. And then I was like, okay, I'm good. I can do this. Yeah.
Well, see, that's the kind of stuff we like to know. And Michelle, we're talking about Escaping Colorado. That's our book this month. So I went a little bit newer than some of our more traditional stuff. So that's what we're talking about. Okay, so what about writing the romance, other than just kind of finding your hook? What about writing that genre was so challenging for you?
I think this is the truth, okay? I'm not romantic. Like, I'm not romantic. I always say this, and maybe this is super romantic. Either some people think I'm like so romantic, or they'll think I'm not romantic at all. My feeling, like on a marriage, for example, is that
we just talked about some of this.
Yeah, I'm on a kick. The romantic thing of a long-term marriage is not all the bullshit in the middle. I don't care about flowers. I don't care about this. I don't care about the semantics of it. To me, the most romantic, I tell my mother this all the time.
the most romantic thing in the world is the finish line. For you to share an entire life together, be part of each other's history and story through every shitty, life is hard, guys, every shitty thing, and still be there at the end, that to me is romantic. But if you buy me chocolate and like flowers, I mean, that's cool. If I'm in a good mood, I'm gonna really appreciate it. If I'm in a bad mood, I'm gonna be like, yay. And I'm just not good at romance. Honestly, I'm not. I look big picture when it comes to love and romance. So when I go to write a book about romance, I could, if I wrote a book like The Notebook, then I could totally do it. Because I need to show all the trouble along the way. Water for Elephants. Like, there's so many books I can think when they're those long, like, historical fiction romance. That's what I'll do. There's what you're going to get out of tonight's episode. I will write a romance that covers the span of a lifetime together, and then I'll be into it. It's novellas. I don't give a shit about what happened on that date, Kat. I can't get into it because to me that's not romantic. Romantic is, are you still there when like I have gray hair, I can't even like really walk, and I probably hate you secretly? That's romance to me. That's true. Okay, I'll shut up now.
All right, there we go. True fact.
Yep.
That's what it's all about, people. Okay, so now I'm going to make you remember a little bit. What was the hardest scene to write from this book?
Oh, God, wow. Tell Wow no. She's calling me Sunshine. I don't know why I speak. It just gets used against me in a court of books. What was the hardest scene? This is the one where he's a painter, right?
Yes.
I remember there's something about where he's actually doing a painting, like in a studio. Do you remember that scene? Am I on the right book?
Yes.
I remember that being hard, and I think because this book jumps around a lot, the way I wrote it was very jumpy. Like, I'm in their original world, and then I'm in the new world where she's got the second life. Like, I didn't want to give the book away either.
Right.
So that jumping was hard, but also just, I don't think I did a very good job of nailing the setting that I had in my head for that scene, the actual artist studio. I just remember struggling with that scene with the painting. Maybe
and I love that scene, like, and just her attitude in the whole situation. Like, it was just such a good like an unlikely mesh. Like,
yeah, that took me a couple of tries. I tossed that scene like 3 times because I couldn't figure out their chemistry. I still don't know if I've got their chemistry because that's that thing I struggle about. To me, chemistry is built over, of course, it's a time thing. You can meet someone and they're hot and you guys are banging, like it's the greatest thing in the world for, 5 years. Excellent. But the get to know you, love, dynamics, true relationship part to me comes way down the road. Again, I'm not romantic. That honeymoon phase doesn't impress me. So writing about it, I don't know what I'm writing about. I don't get what butterflies? Are you kidding? I'm old. But I still have to be able to put that into novellas. So that's where I struggle and why I have such a hard time with the genre. I wish I could do that more gracefully, but yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
Somebody's saying, hey, I almost missed this. I don't know who it is, but hey.
Is that Nicole? Is that you, Nicole?
Hi, Nicole.
All right, so we did say that this book does have a little connection, a little throw out to Escape Colorado, obviously, which is really cool. Yeah. And part of the Statesman series, which is really cool. What was the message that you wanted to get across with this book, if any?
I don't know how to say that without giving away the ending. But I think sometimes it takes a big event for people to have to make a choice, and hopefully that choice comes out on the side of love. How about that, Kat? Is that good?
Well done. All right, so now some slightly more specific things from the book. This book had a lot of stuff going on, and at the risk of not giving away what's going on, but here are some pieces and parts you guys are going to find out if you haven't read this book yet. So we have Ian the painter, who, when he's talking with Chrissy and kind of just kind of gabbing on, because she doesn't really, she's kind of quiet, doesn't say too much, and he's just kind of sharing, and he talks about his idea, his author theory of like the world, basically, or he's not religious per se, but that it's an author that's in charge and writing our story. And where did that idea come from? Because I just thought that was like so neat how it was, well, why would they want to read your story? But then that kind of changes later on in the book, and a different comment is made, and it was a really cool explanation and just fit with those two and how they kind of work.
You wow, you should have been a journalist. You missed your calling.
I'm a book geek. I mean, there's that.
Oh my God. Okay, so that's James Patterson's masterclass. I'm always learning. I did a James Patterson masterclass where there was he has like a workbook where there's little challenges, and one of the challenges was a metaphor and to use a person's like personal lens to connect it to religion or philosophy. That was my exercise for James Patterson. How you find this is just crazy. Well, I'm always trying to improve my writing, or at least try new things. So I'm constantly taking classes or doing exercises and practicing. And that's, yeah, God, Kat, you're good. I forgot I did that. That's amazing.
I love that backstory helps you remember your books.
It does help me remember. I forgot I even wrote that, but yeah, you're right. At least I remember where it came from.
But look, but it does, it goes because of, Ian is so artsy, and, then he's getting to know Chrissy, and he's really opening up, and, she's kind of just nonchalant and just there. Yeah. But just that whole discussion, and then like her comments thrown into it, it's really well done. Really well done.
That's what's cool when you take like an extra class or you get an idea. I've written so many books that I've gotten to a point where I need outside like recommendations, or even doing this. I really will write a notebook type of book, which will get the historical fiction in there. Because I actually have a couple of historical fictions I thought about, but I don't want to tell you because then it's now pressure and hashtagging and all that. But that's a way that I could do it where I could also tie in romance, because I think that kind of romance I'd be really good at. Give me the span of a lifetime and I think I could nail a romance. But yeah, those outside, like whether it's a class or just talking to other authors or readers, I get an exercise or a challenge, and then boom, I throw it into whatever I'm working on, and it helps a lot. You can't write in a bubble, is my point, or at least I can.
Right. Well, and that's Nicole. Nicole, we're talking about this book. It's in Colorado. So we went a little bit newer this month for backstory. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what I love, and the other readers you can come with me on this one. That's what we love about your books, is there's always some layered stuff or something new that you learn that you throw in that makes it unique. Like you might just say, oh, well, this is just a romance story, but there are so many layers to it. You have that neat layer. You have what happens when she's Ellie with her mother. I mean, you've got that whole piece thrown in there, and you have the yearly meetup between Ellie and Micah, and that whole hope aspect there. There's a lot going on in this little novella. Like you did pack a lot into a novella. You did.
Yeah, and that's that thing I'm talking about. So the meetup with him is that romantic kind of love. The excitement, the thrill of it, and the hotel room and all that. And then you have that other relationship that has sort of been thick and thin. And it comes down to a choice of what. And of course, it's pretty obvious how I'm gonna land on that. But if I really wanted to do a twist, I guess I would have had her, ride off with a motorcycle guy. But whatever, the point is that you can see that same like theme. And that's when I feel like I could do romance right. So my insecurity is literally because it's a novella. I don't have enough room to do their whole life without being like shallow with no layers, which isn't how I write. Or I'm not going to get into it. I've got to suddenly make her call him daddy. It's got to be some weird kinky thing in order to make it fun. Or rom-com it and throw them in Amish country with Petunia. I can do it that way. But there's got to be, it can't just be guy meets girl, he buys her roses, they're so excited. Fast forward, they've been married a year and we're supposed to think that's romance. That's not romance to me. That's a year. I want to see show me the day his arm got cut off and you got a phone call that your husband's having emergency surgery. Because until that moment, you don't even know how you feel about him, kind of thing. That didn't happen to me at all. But seriously.
But even by the end of this one, so not giving the ending away, but I would very much read another book or 2 or 3 about these characters and see where it goes, you know, where everybody is in 5 more years' time and what other struggles have arisen. Because I think even just the way you left it off, you could keep going with these characters for sure.
Yeah, and because it's great to say she makes the choice she makes, but, you know, can she hold that choice? Because there's
right,
a whole
is that,
number one. Yeah.
Is that the end of it? Or then what? Or does, you know, whatever choice she makes,
Come flying right on it.
Does the other party decide I got to up my game? Like what, you know?
Oh, Up My Game would be a fun book. I will give you that.
Yeah.
Up My Game would be fun. Don't talk to me about that. I've got other things.
Look, we're like, how many? We're like, what, 3 for 3 of backstory and books? Like, come on, we gotta. There's always that cat angle.
Quick. It's like, oh shit, I gotta do that one cat. Made me think of. Yep.
Don't worry, Kat will keep a list. Wow, we got this.
No list. And card catalog of things Erin will do this week.
Yeah. Wait, let me reference my Erin card catalog. Where should we be? Oh, yeah. Don't think I don't have one because
I know your cat.
Okay, let me see here.
I cannot believe you pulled out the James Patterson exercise. That is just crazy.
That part was just so like startling. Like I don't know how to like fully. And it wasn't just him talking about it, but then it was Chrissy's response. And then her response later in the book to that whole theory. And you could see that progression. Like, y'all, you need to read this so you know what I'm talking about, because it's really, yeah, this book is short, but there's a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of layers and chunks and feelings. And like, I was trying to encompass all of this into my review as I was writing. Like, I put that up. Yeah. And, you know, romance books might be you might feel that they're not your bag or whatever, but my review is going to say that I disagree, because this love story was unique perfection, and the reader could feel and become immersed in, because it was like I was all in.
You're me. No, it's because you're me and you're like me about romance and you're with me on that, and that's why you can appreciate this. Anybody who loves flowers is going to hate this book.
No, it's such a unique love, though. It can't all be boy meets girl, buys flowers, goes to prom, gets it. They're not all that way. Like,
no, it isn't.
This one, and then whenever you have that moment with Ian that I'm not going to give away, that startling moment, then you really see that care and concern. And there's that moment you're talking about, that wow, I'm feeling something moment that I didn't even know. How did I get here? Yeah. It's pretty intense, y'all. Check it out.
Yeah.
Look, I just got ice cream on my chin now. That's how my moo latte. Yeah. See, this is romance right here, because
that is Chop romance. Says, he got you that. That's romance. Yeah.
Chop says, I got to run to the liquor store. Do you want to go? I don't want to leave the house. It's hot. Will you buy me a moo latte?
That's romance. Yeah. That's the kind of romance I like. Yep.
Put food in my belly. I love you. There you go.
Thank you, whoever said that. I think it must be Nicole, the wordsmith.
Yes. She knows. She gets it. But yeah, I just think between the cover and just everything in here, y'all, you need to check this out, because there's a lot there, and
It's so funny. The books that
I
I'm
just
the
loved it.
least confident about are the ones you guys like. And the ones I love, it's like crickets. And I'm like, what?
Well, look, I
It's
love
true.
them all.
It may be that when I struggle with a book, it comes out better because I can't whip it out in 3 weeks. I have to literally torture myself and throw tantrums. That book got written more than once. All romances do. Because they're
I think you just because somewhere in here you have that blockage of I can't write that, or it's hard for me to write that. That it's almost like extra effort and extra layers to try to, you know. Here comes Wow with the E.L. George.
It's the E.L. George I'm confident with. I could give her a million more Dear Dawns. Easy.
Yeah. That's okay. We'll take
Dear
those
Dawn, I think it took me 8 days to write Dear Dawn.
You cranked that one out. That was after the first backstory. That got real.
I mean, it's already here, and it was after the first. Right. Escaping Colorado probably took me 3 months because just genre-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So E.L. George's will go quick.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, even with your books, whether they're horror, whether they're romance, whether they're, whatever, they always have that sprinkling of some type of social issue, some type of, you can see the shrink come out in there, with what happens with Ellie and her mom. It's just a short little part of the book, but you have that OMG social issues moment of, wow,
Oh God, Ebony.
I'm with that. I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that.
I can't read 9 Lives for some reason, Kat.
I did. I have read.
Yeah, it was just maybe later. I don't think I knew you when that came out.
Yeah, I didn't know you when that came out, and I read it a little bit later. But then I was like, "Oh my God, this book is amazing!" And you're like, "There's going to be more."
That case.